Welcome back to the Insiders podcast. We have a special for you, something new that we're going to try and do. You guys know that we've done a Kook or Core or a do's or don'ts in individual episodes. This is a special. This is a Kook or Core special. You're going to learn what's kooky, what's core, what to do, what not to do. We've got a list of them. We're going to give ourselves 5 minutes to chat about each one, and then let us know your thoughts on what we say about them in the comments on YouTube, on socials, and send us your kooks or cores as well. We want to do it, and then we'll do more and more specials like this. We'll save them up. So, welcome to the Insiders Kook or Core special. How you doing, Daz?
I'm pretty good. I'd like to just specify, Maddie, that they're going to learn what we think is Kook Or Core because our word is not cement. Huh? Even though yours is maybe wet cement and mine is maybe cement that's already got cracks in it, but it's our opinion and
Yeah,
our opinions count to
mine's
ourselves
maybe a
and
bit more like porridge, but still,
our horde of followers.
exactly. And if they
Do you
don't
want me to
like
kick
it,
off, Maddie?
yeah, right. Timer
I'm
ready.
gonna I'm
You
gonna
have
kick off. I didn't do any homework on this one, listeners' audio notes, but I'm gonna kick off with
right.
Kook Or Core going to a surf trip on a surf house and expecting every single thing in the house to be for free, and services and boards and wetsuits, and thinking that the hosts are going to drive you around up and down the coast looking for waves for free.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's I guess that's kooky, isn't it? But it's more like once you've been on one trip to a surf camp and you realize that that's not the case, the more I guess it's the more kooky it is, the more surf trips you've done because you shouldn't expect it. If you expect it the first time, maybe that's just a little bit of naivety or a little bit of like kind of, you know, you haven't had that education or that exposure. So I like almost like one of those like fool me once, my fault, like cool kind of thing. Fool me twice, like then you're an idiot. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, I'm calling it full kook. I don't want to have this guest ever back, and I feel sorry for any place that this guest ever goes to. We're talking about like a project manager, computer geek who's got their own little surf camp cafe in a third world country, and books a group of five beginner lessons. Or it doesn't really matter what sort of lessons, a group of five lessons at 45 euro a lesson, which has got board and wetsuit included for the week. It just happened to be a big bad week of surf here. It was horrendous for everyone. And basically, like Simon Anderson had a really good expression that he used to tell us at Euroglass is if someone comes to him and wants a cheap board, that's their problem.
Yeah, I mean it's one of
You want
those
to,
like
if you want a cheap trip, that's your problem. Like obviously you can do it cheap, but don't expect other people to have to do it cheap for you. Like,
and
like I come from the era of going on a surf trip and just do your best with it was zero guiding. There was zero guiding. There was Surfrider, the Surfrider magazine or whatever it was called. If you went to Indo, there was Indo Lingo. Um, You can't expect everything. It's a long journey surfing. Start learning how to do it yourself. Do two surf camps where if you're listening to us and you're a dead set beginner, do two surf camps with your lessons and then have a crack at doing it yourself and wake up every morning and go surfing.
yeah, and
Hire a car. Hire a car. That's the next Kuka call, but I'll let you get one in, matey.
just on this point still, we've got a couple of minutes before the timer goes off. But my opinion on it is it's also a little bit like I'm assuming that the guy's paid a certain amount where like
Or girl.
or girl, we had Jonathan Weaver and Bram on last year. They done the Renegade surf trip where you're on a boat and they explained everything was catered for. They took you to the spot, your food, everything was catered for, right? But they were paying a wedge. I'm talking
Yeah,
three
a
and a half
wedge.
grand, right? Three and a half
Yeah, not
grand, like
600 bucks. Not
without
600 bucks.
flights. So
Yeah,
it's a bit like almost like your Simon Anderson thing. Is like they want a really, really high quality surfboard for the price of a foamy. Well, it doesn't happen. So yeah,
yeah.
I'm saying kook to that one. And and actually like the more you expect and the more you know, like if you've been on a few trips and you expect that, even kookier. And if you're saying that that person ran their own third world country camp as well, even more kooky. So yeah, full kook stamp on that one from me.
There you go. I don't know how much that person made a day, but I want to make the same. Put it
Well,
that
yeah.
way. So good on you. Okay,
Cool.
that's Cook number one. What do you got in your bag for number two, Matty?
I've got one. I have got one that I've probably said before, but right. So my one, carrying your board with the wax on the inside. But and because I've seen Dane Henry, who's not a kook, doing it a lot. And he has black boards. So, like a lot of his boards are like black or got black spray. So I'm like, he should know better. Plus, his board would get hot and the wax would get hot. So yeah, my question to you is wax in Kook or Core.
I'm wondering if this one can even go the distance for the time. I just can't understand anyone in the world to do it. Or if you do, you got free clothes for life because the minute you do it, like if you're not on your way to surf in any sort of clothing, or even, yeah, say you're getting wax all over. Sometimes you walk down the beach with your jumper on or whatever, if
Yeah,
you're getting changed on the beach or to your car or whatever, you're getting wax all over the arm. Going to the beach, I guess there could be a reason why you do it. I can't think of one. I've been known to put it on top of my head, even with the wax, just to keep the sun off you if it's like stinging hot. I'm gonna call it kook, and sorry, Dane Henry, because I don't know. I don't think he's a kook, but maybe you could. Maybe we should be sending him a DM.
I'm gonna clip this up and send it to him and say, tell us why you do it. Because
Tell us why you do it. If he's got a good reason, well, I'll go with it.
we'll share it. Yeah, I'm all for being educated, but I can't see any reason why anyone would do it. It doesn't make sense to me. When you're in your clothes, it's gonna wreck them. When you're in your wetsuit, it's weird because you're rubbing your wax all over you. So like, you know, you're losing wax and it's getting pushed into your wetsuit. Weird. Yeah, full kook stamp. We don't even have to go to 5 minutes on that one, and I don't mind finishing it early.
Let's
Um,
bank it.
done. Ticked off. Big kook. Done. Where you at with number two?
Or how about this is a good one. Wording up a lifesaver clubby on his board who's dropping in on kids and snake paddling.
Um, elaborate. What do you mean by wording up? What like, by
Big,
basically telling them like, don't do it.
bigger buffy sort of a dude too.
What's basically someone who's like a big guy or like a good person going out at a spot and just taking all the waves off of like beginners and kids.
Yeah,
I mean, I think,
and experienced surfers.
yeah, I mean, I think it's very kooky. I know that this is maybe controversial, but I genuinely believe the better you are at surfing, the more responsibility you have to uphold a better etiquette. Um,
Well, the
you,
more you should actually understand
yeah.
what is etiquette anyway, unless it's free for all. Sometimes you're just in a lineup that's a free for all, and at that stage you can either paddle in or kind of, I guess, turn into a lion.
Well, I think on this one, for example, on the couple of podcasts a few weeks ago, you said that there were those people, you went to that spot, they weren't locals, you were the local, you let them have a few waves, saw that they weren't providing the etiquette that they should, and you then
I
took on
can't
the
remember where this was.
I think you said it was up at you didn't
Oh
name
yeah,
the
yeah.
spot, but I know where you
Dudes
mean.
with helmets on.
And I think you said there were Seppos maybe, but
No, they were just
or
these two dudes with helmets on.
yeah,
Helmets and mini males.
but you had
Good
you had
peak.
to like you almost had to not follow etiquette to enforce etiquette, but which is fair enough, I think, because you acted with the right etiquette at first and then had to take action because you weren't getting anywhere. I think that's understandable because you can't teach someone rules if they don't know that if they're not playing on the same rules, they might just think that you're letting them take the waves. But
I mean, I find it incredibly kooky on my own part to open my mouth and say something to someone, and I've gone up to a year without doing it. But sometimes, like for example, this was a clubby dude that as I'd paddled up north onto a peak after doing a walk around because we had this surf and it was pretty solid, and Jay Phipps was paddling deep on a pretty good wave, and the clubby dude just was going straight with his head down, paddling down, and just fully faded him. And I saw Jay talking to him, and they were talking back and forth, and he was going, yeah, 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 yeah. And then he caught another one after that, and then I was sitting there, and he paddled out right near me, and a wave was coming like where I was, and he just did the further paddling out further, like as fast as he could to go the other side. And I yelled out, "Man, you're not going that one. I'm going to drop in on you." And he turned around, he's, "Oh, what?" And then didn't end up going. He's, "Oh, yeah, what?" And I was like, yeah, wait, what? That's called snaking. And you already dropped in on the young kid. Hey, hang on. I didn't drop in on the young kid. I was paddling with my head down, so I didn't see him trying to go for it deep. And then I just said, "Oh yeah, no worries. Do what you want. You don't have any experience. I can understand." Oh well, you don't know who I am. How can you say that if you don't know who I am? Anyway, you sometimes you got to word someone up, and I tell you, I think it's Kook and Core.
I think it's core to word them up because I think like you done, oh, you don't have any experience. Oh, and then he's like, oh, you don't know who I am. And then you're like, well, if that's who you are, you should know better. Like,
Yeah,
you
which
know,
is what I
like,
said actually.
yeah. So I think it is kooky on his front, but I think on the front of wording people up, I think it's core. Like I don't believe in like pure like violence or like pure localism and
He
stuff
could
like
have
that.
just paddled over to me and
But
cracked me one in the head. He was a
could
pretty
have,
buff.
but
He
that
was a
would have been
pretty buff sort of a dude.
that would have been kooky as well. But I think it's core to word people up in the right way because you need to because then hopefully he's going to think about it next time and he won't drop in on Jay or whoever it is. And also for his sake, what about if he dropped in on like if he really didn't know or whatever? What about if he dropped in on Jeremy Flores or
So are we able to add the Jack Robinson drop in on this, or is that a separate one?
we could talk that's relatable. We could go with that.
Okay, so Jack Robbo was actually I saw after that he was in the middle of a threesome sandwich, and the dude, this is an interesting one because I ended up watching. We were trying not to get it into to dates and stuff, but I ended up watching Leo Heat with Belly, and he was like, "Ah, you see Jack Robbo?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's interesting," because I spoke to Matt about it today, and he's like, "Mate, he was just going to work," which in one respect is right. And see, I understand Belly's opinion because he's following around the world, and that area wants this comp, right? It's a busy point. Now, if there's a whole lot of points right near it, the other dudes can go somewhere else. And I'm not saying that
Jack
these
Priest.
pros
Yeah, but
deserve. I'm
Jack
not serving these saying these pros deserve any waves, but that guy was looking for confrontation as well, I think, as well.
I
Or
think
maybe he was just fed up as
I
well.
yeah, and I think talk on that instance, I completely disagree with Belly. The WSL have training days that they put on. He gets to surf the place empty, like every year, basically. It's that guy's local spot. I've actually been looking at that event. There was a day where they literally announced women only running. Kanoe Garashi posted clips. He is at a different spot. When Italo got his knee sliced open by a beginner, he's at a completely different spot. they don't have to surf that wave. Jack
Yeah,
Roy,
but what if they want to surf that wave because that's where they're going to surf and
then
that's what
surf
their
it like
livelihood.
then you lose that's absolutely fine. But because you've got stickers on your board doesn't mean you're entitled to drop in on people.
No,
Actually,
no, I didn't say it, I didn't say it does.
no,
I
but you
just.
just said, what if they want to surf that wave? Yeah, surf it properly. That's my answer. Surf the
There
wave,
you go.
don't drop in on people.
There
Um,
you go.
and and I actually think if you have stickers on your board, if you're there, he's representing a country basically, and he's representing himself and he's representing the WSL. He has more reason to not drop in on someone than to drop in on someone. That is
Was Jack at the front or was the guy in the middle? Now I can't remember.
Jack was by far obvious. I don't know about the third person, but Jack was clearly dropping in on someone, and like that's all that matters. And
He was in the front of the dude who was dropping in on,
now that
yeah,
guy
the
was,
other dude. And the guy, I saw that grabbed at Jack's hand. He kind of
yeah, he
flicked
flicked
his
his
hand
board at him.
off.
I don't condone flicking your board at someone.
No,
That could
no,
be
but he
wrong.
flicked his hand at first. They did a little
Yeah,
hands holdy.
but also the other reason, like, and while we talk about Jack, to bring it up, there's a video of Rex Hemmings snaking someone,
Oh,
and
Rex Hemmings.
yeah, I sent
Well,
it to
I've got a
you.
question for you. Who the hell is Rex Hemmings when he's not at home?
Well, that's an even funnier video because he tries to flex on the guy and push the guy off his board, and basically the guy doesn't move. You know when you're having a dream about if you've ever had a dream where you're in a fight but you're underwater and you're going to punch someone and your hand's going super slow and you just hit them and they don't move. It was like what?
I reckon you might need to see a psychologist, Matty. But anyway, we'll go with that dream.
But yeah,
I haven't had one. I haven't had one of them
it
yet.
was on that. So I personally think that the to go back to the Jack Robbo thing, I personally think they're world tour surfers. They're going to work. Know better, do better. Like just
He sent him in and he went in.
and he
He
went
did
in, and
go
that's
in. That
how
was
you know.
interesting.
Yeah, that's how
He
you know
didn't
he knew
push
he
the issue
fucked
and
up.
stay out there, did he?
That's how you knew he fucked up is because he just came in. Anyway, next Kook or Core, my one, and I think this is a good one. Started the timer. Um, Kook or Core, putting your leash under your wetsuit. So like you pull your leg, you pull your wetty up, put your leash on and pull it over, or do you put it over your wetsuit? Because every time I surf with like every time I see someone put it under their wetsuit, which I do, all of the people who put it under their wetsuit surf really good. So that's why I started doing it.
I've never seen it happen. I've never done it.
So you put your wetty over. You've never seen it happen.
Maybe I just don't have that fetish where I'm looking at people putting their leggies
Maybe.
on, but I just can't understand. I can't understand how you do that. So then what does your leg just go? What happens to the party
It's just a little bit
wetsuit?
folded up.
Ah.
I only do it in the summer when I'm wearing no boot. It's only a no boots thing. I don't do it if I'm wearing boots.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it like that, would you? I'll try it. I'll try it. You know, why the hell not?
I'm calling it
Core.
core.
I'm calling it core with a K.
Yeah, all right. I like that. Yeah. Try it. I was to give a bit of background. I was recommended to do it after my one of my leashes came off after I had a wipeout and my leash came off my leg and it didn't snap. The Velcro had got like the Velcro had just given way on my ankle. And friend of mine, professional surfer Harry Timpson, said to me,
Big day or 2 foot slop?
it wasn't 2 foot, it wasn't big. It was like 3 to 4 foot.
Mm.
Um, I basically got a bit greedy, rode this wave right onto the inside where it gets a little bit beach dumpy and a little bit powerful, and actually pulled into a shore break, got worked, came up on my like borders on the beach, all on sand,
You,
everything fine. But
you're a wee bit gourmand, as they'd say down here.
yeah, I was a wee bit sand through every single part of my wetsuit. But yeah, and then I was talking to Harry Timpson who is, as we know, a professional surfer and very good. And he said to me, "That's why I put my leggy under my wetsuit because it gives you a bit more protection from that happening." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So then since then I started doing it, and now I feel pretty cool doing it. So that's why I thought I'd ask you if you do it or if it was a French, if it was popular in France, but seems like it's not.
I think I remember reading or hearing that Geordie Smith did it. I don't know where I read or saw that, but I don't know. I mean, I've never done it. I'm gonna have a crack at it,
Give it a
but
crack. Give it a crack.
I'm thinking it feels a little bit weird. But well, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, now I've started doing it, I quite like it, and I don't want to not do it. Feels like it does keep my leash in place a bit better as well. You don't get like rolling around your ankle, and
Core with a K because I'm still feeling it feels a bit kooky.
we'll go cool with a K.
Doesn't feel natural.
I know I sprung this on you a little bit, and you are very busy at the moment. So have you got another one? If not, I've still got a couple more.
Yeah. I had one, but then I just forgot it because oh, there you go. I don't know if it's a Kook or Core because yeah, but it could be Kook or Core lending your board to someone.
Oh, this is a great question because it actually happened to me recently where um so basically let I don't know on the answer just yet, but what happened to me recently, someone came down here to see me and the waves were quite good in the morning. They came down, they were the same size wetsuit as me, and we were out for dinner and they were like, "Oh, should we go surf in the morning?" And I was like, "Yeah, we can, but like you don't have a board." And then they like stared at me as if to be like, "Yeah, but you do." And I was like, I do, but my boards are pretty precious." To me, obviously. Um, so I actually think it was kooky. I think I should have lent him my board. Um,
That's your twins are there in the background then, eh?
oh yeah, that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Would you be lending that one out?
Depends who to.
Well, how long's that?
5'11"?
Too small to lend it to the
No,
old
you'd
bitch.
you'd
Yeah,
like you'd
I'm
like that.
jumping straight in. I'm calling it completely core. Back in the day, I wouldn't have said that, but I lent one yesterday. I lent my 7.7 to a mate. The surf was absolutely stinking cooking.
Lending it
Now
to a mate is core. Lending it to
he's not a close mate, but he's a fellow surfer of Illinois. He lives in front of it in this apartment, looking out on it. And for I remember it one. He had a 9.8 Fipsy, which was kind of overgun most of the time, but that was all he had. It doesn't work, this guy. He's got an apartment, but it doesn't work. Just surfs. That's it's kind of pretty cool. I think he's on basic unemployment benefits, and 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 then apparently he snapped his gun because some this other guy was telling me. I looked up and he didn't have any guns left, so he was out there on a softboard
what
and
a
he
freak.
snapped that. He snapped that. It was 8 to 12 foot. Um, and I saw him and he was talking to this other friend of mine. I said, "I'll lend your board, Cedric," because I had my 7.7 down the road at the cafe and I had an 8.11 in the car and then I think my 6.11. So anyway, because the same spot, like a year ago or a year and a half ago, I snapped my Bradley gun, which was pretty new at the time. It was only 3 or 4 surfs. The one I got fixed this winter and
Yeah.
went better from previous episodes, by the way. We talked about that. Went better after the snap. And this dude I know, Damien, chipper on surfboards and what surf school, he lent me his, which kind of looked a bit weird. And I took it anyway, and it went unreal, and I got a barrel. And I was
Yeah.
just sitting there. I was so happy the fact that someone would do that. That when I said to Cedric, I said I'm going to
That's cool. That is cool.
pass on the karma, and he sent me a message going, "I got 3 barrels on it. Come back past and pick it up." I didn't even have to ask him to get it back. And I went back there and he ran up because he was on the beach. He ran up and went and got it for me. So I
Actually,
felt like,
yeah, it definitely is cool because I remember twice
I
like
reckon we got to do it. My mate in Australia lends me boards all the time. I reckon
yeah.
if you can lend people your boards, just don't lend them to
Well,
full
Fipsy came over here last year for
dildos or
Christmas.
something.
Fipsy
Excuse
came
that,
over
mate.
here for Boardmasters last year without a board and rode the 510 shrimp boat that he made me about 8 years ago that I've still got that I still love. And then he went back home and was like, I've got to make myself one of these again. Like he like loved it. And actually I do think it's cool because another mate came down and I actually lent him my Morning of the Earth, which is mental, but he is a very good friend of mine. And actually seeing him score some waves on it was cool as well. I had some sort of like kind of like cool vibe about helping him, I guess.
Well, I lent one the other year. Here's the catch-22. I lent one the other year to Woody, who used to own and run the surfing in a Stanio car park, and all good, snaps it. I didn't have a board, I was cooking, snaps it. Yeah, man. And I said, yeah, owe me. And he's like, I would have sold it for 450. It was in good nick, a 6'7" Bradley Lynx. And he's, yeah, oh, it's just tough times. So I said, look, you can pay me later on when you get back to Australia, whatever. I'll take 300 then. Like, which means I'm at a loss already. Never heard from him again. He went underground.
Heavy.
Ditch me. So he's got the karma coming
So that
against
is
him.
that is so that's where like he's a
And
kook.
that's where you go, I'm never lending one again.
Yeah, he's a kook. You weren't. I probably was a bit of a kook for not being as
Kook or
forthcoming with my
Core, not
board.
paying for the board you snapped, but a better
That's
one. That lasts 5 seconds.
that's a 10 set. Yeah, I was gonna say
Kook.
that's a kook straight up. Should pay more. All right. Um, okay, so I've got one more kook or core, and then I've got a last thing on it actually. So I don't. I think this is in France as well, but on secondhand surfboard sites, when you're selling your secondhand board, how kooky is it? Because I'm deciding it's just kook straight up. But when you see a listing that says brand new, only surfed 3 times, what one is it? Like, because it's not it's not brand new if you've surfed it 3 times. So why are you trying to then sell it for the exact price that a shop's trying to sell it for with 20 quid off or something?
I
And
reckon you could get away nearly with saying brand new was surfed 3 times if it doesn't have any footprints on it. It is next to brand new, depending on the person. Depending on, but like with me, it'll have a few knee dents straight above the right hand side on the pad or bottom from the first duck dive I do. But some people are so flawless that you can get
well,
away with it.
but then
I'm not
if you
calling
can
a
get away,
core or kook.
if you're
I'm
not,
calling it a salesman's tactic.
if you get, yeah, but it's a bad salesman's tactic, right? Because if you're light enough that it doesn't have a mark on it, sell it as brand new. Don't tell anyone you've ever surfed it, right?
Yeah, you can't sell a board that you've surfed and say, that's why you got to say, like they did, near brand new.
Exactly.
Almost,
Exactly.
almost brand new.
Just stop saying it's brand new, only served 3 times. It's
Or
not,
perfect condition.
it's
Perfect
not
condition.
exactly perfect condition, almost brand new, pretty much spotless, whatever. Because even if you wax a board up,
Okay, even better, Matty. Absolutely spanking brand new board that's a dog. That's why I'm selling it. Because why are you going to be selling a board that
well,
brand
yeah,
new?
yeah,
Huh?
I know, yeah. And
Just
oh yeah, no, but
goes
also
like the back door of the shit house, but is in great nick.
what about the best one actually is the opposite to that. Selling this board, absolutely love this board. Well, why are you selling it then? Like, are you lying? Or like
There's plenty of tactics there. That's with I've gotten older. I put on 15K after the knee blew out. Um, uh,
yeah, there's loads.
Wife left me, took the house. Need money to eat.
Need money for another new board that I love that I'll sell.
There you go. I'm going to Indo for a few months, and that's one more month's accommodation.
Hey, so I'm gonna say it's kooky anyway. We'll make a decision on that.
Yeah,
Um,
cookie.
the
Well, I don't
other
know.
the last thing I wanted to bring up, it isn't a kook or core, but it's a do or
Well,
don't.
what
But
the hell is it then?
it's a do or don't. Actually, well, it's actually core on our behalf because I've learnt about something that I think our followers and our listeners could benefit from massively. And what it is, and I'm sorry to UK shapers and French shapers and other shapers,
You
but
should be sorry.
listen to this, right? So a few of my mates are on a boat trip now out in the Ments.
They didn't invite you?
Greenbush actually did invite me, but
Okay.
I'm going to Mexico in 2 weeks. But so they literally arrived at Greenbush today, and I was chatting to my mate. So
They're
my mate,
scared shitless.
well, no, they're not. They're very very good surfers. I'm glad I'm not there. But
Okay.
here's the thing, right? So I said to my mate, "Oh, have you got new boards ordered?" And he went, "Actually, yeah, I've ordered the boards from Onboard in Bali." And so he ordered four brand new CIs with tints and sprays, ordered it from Onboard in Bali, paid £400 a board, and it's delivered to his boat. So they arrived at the boat today, and he's
How's that helping his local shaping community?
but they were £400 a board. Like at the end of the day, I don't blame him at all. He's paid the price he would have got two boards for that. And so my public service announcement to our followers is if you're doing a trip to Bali, if you're doing a boat trip, you're going out to Bali or whatever, look into it because I went out there last year and a couple of people I was with had been out there for
I'm
6 months.
calling it Kook.
Yeah, but I also think that it could be applied to the other way around. Like if you're in America or if you're in Australia and you're doing a trip to France, have a look at hitting up Bradley and getting some boards from Bradley that they might be cheaper, and then you don't have to travel with your boards, and you can get boards, and it's an easier way to do it. Um, but you could call it kook. I think it's pretty cool to be able to have the boards that cheap and have them there on the boat, and they are really good quality. The ones I saw in Indo last year were really, really good quality.
Globalization, mate. It's the end of all of us. But whatever.
Well, yes, but no, really, because you could say, well, why are they spending that much money to go on a
I'll
boat
tell
to
you why. Because
Indo?
then, and we're not far off, but it's about 10 years away. Um, I already spoke to Darren Burford, who's one of the biggest blank producer in Australia and one of the worldwide best, oldest blank producing families. And he said it's the beginning of the end last year, because he's only stayed in business because he's owns the building, so he's got low rent, no rent. But the local surfboard industry will disappear. Um, it's going to disappear because you know everyone's just going to say, "Oh well, I'll just get something from China," or Temu surfboards. Wait till Temu surfboards come out.
I
And
personally,
then you'll be like, yeah, we used to be able to get the good boards, but then we wanted three boards for the price of two or four for the price of two so we could snap a couple and not worry.
yeah, I mean, I personally don't agree necessarily, but because
So call it kook.
I think it's core, but I'm saying like, for example, like if you're going on a trip like
I
that,
understand people's pockets are hurting. That's what
yeah,
I understand
but
too.
also, if you're going on a trip like that, you might buy one board for £400 that you're not really ever going to use back in England and things like that. Whereas,
Potentially, yeah, potentially.
like, there's all of these guys are still these
I
are
can't
surfers.
see how the same board goes good at Greenbush is going to go good um,
Legally, yeah, but and that's
Fin-
the point is all of these people are still going to buy boards.
Fistral, is it?
Yeah, Fistral. Yeah, they're all going to
High
buy
tide
boards when
Fistral.
they come back to England. They won't be ordering them from on board and getting them delivered to England because obviously that's not financially viable.
They'll just
But
be bringing them back and they're going to go into the local surf shop secondhand, and that's going to create a commission for the local surf shop and keep the ball rolling, maybe.
exactly, and to be fair, most of it, I mean, the first forecast was 8 to 12 for 18 seconds at Greenbush, so he might need to order some new boards by the end of his trip because it could be that they all get smoked. I think it's quite a cool little board. I think it's quite a cool little hack to travel with, to be fair. So,
Most
why?
probably. I remember young Leo, 16 or 17, going, um, going there, and I think he snapped 6 boards in 2 days at Greenbush, and then had to borrow some people's boards.
Yeah.
And then and I was going there like a month later, not to Greenbush, to Lance's Rights, and I said to him, "How many boards do you reckon I should have taken?" He goes, "Oh, how it depends how hard you're going to charge." And 3 months later, he broke his back, and he was out for 6 months. So who knows?
But
Be
also
careful if you're going to do this. And
with your
I'd be
Burford, with your
the more
Burford
boards, the
comment,
best. The more boards, the better.
while we got 2 minutes left, with your Burford
Yep.
comment, what about what about the World
He's
Tour?
really seeing, and this guy's a lot better placed than us. If you're thinking the word insider, he's really seeing the beginning of the end of the Australian domestic surfboard market.
But what about the guys on the World Tour? Like they is Leo taking like you saw the photo of Leo at the start of the year and he had 49 boards or whatever laid out on his like garden in Hawaii, I think he was. Or he might have been in France. But like you hear that Ethan has 90 boards a year. And you see what Medina does. He has 10
Even
boards.
though after that got refuted because he didn't seem to know. But 90 doesn't seem from my experience in history to be that outrageous considering he's considered the number one,
Well, Medina, I think
the
Medina,
one of the number one surfers in the world. Like, 90 times, let's say what? Let's say a cost price of 500 Aussie, 4 to 500 Aussie times 90, 45, 60, 45, 50 grand. You think the Formula One dudes are going through, you can't compare the market, surfboards to cars, can you? Like, it's just,
but
there's no
what
use
my point is
comparing.
where like for
How many
example,
pairs of football boots is
well,
one of the soccer players going through a season?
where's Leo's boards being made? He's not having 100 boards a year out of France, is he?
No.
So that's as bad as the barley problem.
I guess he's getting some from California because they're traveling around and it's the same file.
So, but it's the same as the what I'm saying is it's the same as
No, it's
these
not
boys.
because wherever he's getting them from, he's getting them for free.
But wherever they're getting them from, they can get them cheaper there. So it's like I think like the globalization part of it is a bit like again like
He's
it's
getting them for free wherever he goes. So he's not someone that we should be comparing to any other person buying them.
yeah. I mean, I
But the
guess
person buying them, I can understand because they got no money. So we'll leave it at that. I totally respect your choices, and thanks for coming, Matt.
sick. And yeah, everyone, let us know if you like this. Hit us up with your Kook Or Cores. We'll discuss
Yeah,
them.
because I reckon we could do this in another month or so, another one, because this
100%.
is going to give me time to come up with some beauties now
Yeah,
that I'm
boy.
going into the dark here.
Au revoir.